What is going on, everyone? It's Ultimate Spy 53 here, and welcome to another episode of Reviewed number 120. And today, I'm going to be reviewing Beauty and the Beast, the 2017 remake of the 1991 original animated classic. So what did I think of this version of Beauty and the Beast? Well, I thought it was really good. It was wonderful. Obviously, this is a remake of the original 1991 original movie with some slight changes to it, obviously, but it was a remake, and because like Disney's doing the remakes ever since Maleficent, I think that was the first one that came out, 2014, I think it was. That was like the thing where they were remaking live-action movies from the original classics, but this was one of the the third one. I think Cinderella was the second one they did. I'll be reviewing that really soon. I know I haven't reviewed it, like why review it when it came out before this movie came out? Because I haven't gotten around to it, and this is just a movie I won't want to review it because it's one of my favorite Disney movies. So yeah, this movie is really good. I really enjoyed it. It was phenomenally amazing. It was so good, and it had an amazing cast too. It had like Emma Watson, Luke Evans, Josh Gad, Dan Stevens, Ewan McGregor, Ian McKellen, Emma Thompson. And of course, Stanley Tucci, if you don't know him, he actually played a character in the Hunger Games movies, and I've never finished them. And so this movie, it was so good. It was like, it was beautifully captured. Like, they captured the original really well, and like it had some backstory from Belle and Beast that was not in the originals or even in the plays, because there are plays of the same story. And like, for example, the Beast of the beginning of the movie, we see that these residents who are like dancing along in the ballroom. It's like he has all these friends, and it's these castle dwellers, or I don't know what they're called. Like the rest of the residents of the castle, they live there. They help out and stuff like that. And you have this song playing, and then you have the 17th century or whatever, or even 18th century. So I don't know exactly when Beauty and the Beast takes place, but basically you have that, and you have like the style of that century where you have like the beast wearing makeup and all that stuff, which is a little weird. I have no idea why that was. I think that's like a style thing or a fashion thing back then, where even the men would wear makeup. It's just, I don't know. Don't ask me where that came from. That was that century, and I guess it's a way that was a fashion back then, where even men wore makeup. It's a little weird. But it was so good. That was told, and then you have why is the Beast like so horrible? And it's because he had a terrible life. Like, his life was horrible, and his father was mean, and I think he even lost his mother, I think. And it just shows you, because there's a clip where she's taking care of the Beast, and we see the Beast's childhood, and it's amazing. It's like nothing we've ever seen before. We don't really know much about the Beast, like, at all. And so I mean even I think the fake name that people are giving Prince Adam, but I don't even think that's really what his name is. I mean, I think that's what the fandom's giving him. Oh, we could call him Prince Adam. Who knows what his actual name is, but let's call him that. And I like the fact that even though we wouldn't really get his name, call it the Prince, that we at least get to know more about him. We get to know what he's been through all this time, and what's caused him to be this selfish and kind prince kind of thing. So that was something that was really good. But also with Belle, we got to learn a little more about her past, like when Marie sings his little song, and then you see all these pictures of like their family and her mother, and and then we find out that her mother is fearless, and it's just generally amazing because we didn't get that in the previous version of the movie, and even in the plays, we didn't get that in the plays. And I've seen plenty of the Beauty and the Beast plays to know that we never got anything more about Belle's mother, or what happened to her mother kind of thing. And I mean, obviously, I think the mother died from the plague, because there's a scene where we flash back to that, where Belle is just born and the plague's taking over. I think the plague even kills her mother, which is so sad. But it's just amazing. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful story of that, and that's what I really thoroughly enjoyed about the movie was with that. And we get a little more about where it came from, what her mother was like. And what happened to her mother. I think that, like I said before, the plague probably got her. That's why she just isn't around anymore. And then I just felt like it was really important to have that there. And then of course when the Beast shows to her Paris, I think the same time as the current century. I think they just travel through space to Paris, and basically I mean, I'm pretty sure. Basically, she sees all this other stuff from her past, and although it's very sad, it's also really wonderful, and it's amazing we've ever really gotten this. Because we don't know much about Belle, we don't really know much about her as a character, and she's the only Disney princess, at least this one, you know, given a live-action telling, that doesn't really have any, you know, parents. Like, it doesn't really have any. Well, I don't know, but all of the Disney princesses don't really have parents like Snow White, but like, this is the only one we haven't really know about her much, you know, her family. We know she has a dad, but that was about it. Like, she has an adventure dad. That's basically it. But I just think it was wonderful that this extra backstory that was never given in the original movie, which is why that makes this movie, this version special. Because I'm real happy that they made a movie about this. Because like this movie is so good. I will admit it has some flaws, but there are plenty of good things about this. So yeah, and obviously the same songs were used in this movie that were in the original. With additions, obviously, we have the Maurice song where he's talking about he's singing about it, I think about his family or whatever, and then we have the Belle song where she's talking about her childhood, and then we have Beast singing. Just a lot of new songs that were never really in the original movie, which is amazing. It's gorgeous to just listen to that, and I didn't really think I completely cried, but I had tears. My eyes water because this movie is beautiful. It's so good. It's like amazing. It's beautifully captured. I mean, obviously the tale itself is a beautiful story, but like with the songs that added, they had the originals, of course, and they had new ones that were not even in the movie, which is why people like Simpsons think the movie sucked because they gave everyone a song, and it's like, oh, too many songs. But again, you have to realize in a musical, songs are needed to have, even if it's like over the top. People don't like that, you know, tune songs, but like it's really still amazing that they did this. So more songs the merrier, really. I think that they added more songs, and those songs really help tell more of a story, to give backstory on the characters like, you know, Belle and the Beast. We don't really know much about, because aside from their original, you know, movies, you don't really know much about them. You know, that we know they were, you know, the Beast was born on unkind. We know Belle is this beautiful woman who, you know, loves books and stuff like that, and only has one parent. That's pretty much all we know, really. And obviously, of course, like I said, every song that's played is beautifully done in its own way. It's beautiful. Each song, you know, for the original, is beautiful in its own way, and that's why I love this movie so much. It's so good. It's like one of the best Disney live-action movies that I've seen so far, at least. And it came out last year, so I was actually the really cool thing about this movie was I actually saw it before it came out. Like, they had a special Thursday night preview, like they always do with every movie that comes out for some reason. But I got to see it, like, you know, one day early because it didn't come out until 17th, and I saw it on 16th. So I was lucky. I was so happy. It was an amazing movie, and they just have, like, the songs that they have, even if they're like, you know, new ones, and of course the, you know, old too, they are beautifully done in their own way. They're beautifully sung. They're all of them are amazing. Just in general, they're really, really good, and that's why this movie has a good. That's why musicals are always the best, because they have some great songs. Something I noticed about this movie, because it's the first live-action movie Disney has produced where they've dealt with this kind of thing, and that is, I don't really know if it's so much of a thing, because Disney doesn't really do a whole lot, and they've been doing a whole lot more, which is really interesting. They've been doing the whole LGBT thing with gay characters, and so LeFou, who we didn't really know much about, like, you know, we know he was a good friend of Gaston, but we don't really know who he is really. We don't really know, you know, what kind of things he's into, kind of thing. All we know is that he's a loyal servant to Gaston, a good friend. And in this movie, we saw that he actually isn't really into women. He's into more like men, which is really funny, because like we can tell that he's really into Gaston, like very much. Like, especially in the Gaston line, he's like really into Gaston. And then we see that at the end of the movie, we see he's actually gay. He's very much a gay person. That's something we never saw in the original movie or the plays. We don't ever saw that actually he's a gay character. Well, this is still the original character. I think this new version of the character, they wanted to spread the word of LGBT in the movie industry by giving the character a new thing with being gay, which, although I'm not the biggest fan of, you know, gay things, because, you know, I support it, but I'm just like, I'm not gay myself, so I don't really, I don't dig it a whole lot. I mean, I support it, I totally support it, but I I don't know. This is. I'm only saying it because Disney isn't really known to do this. They're not really a company that tells stories with gay people or any, you know, like an LGBT thing. They're not really a company that does it. So that they're sort of on the to do that because most of the stories most of the romance stories are told with, you know, with the classic where you have the man and the woman falling in love kind of thing. But when you have a man and man falling in love, that's a little weird because it's especially for Disney. So Disney's started up the game with more of that, more of that storytelling, and that's really important. That's something that should be told more often because it's the 21st century, and you know LGBT is a thing. So you know, we also spend more time in the village, which is really interesting because in the original movies and also the plays, we spent a lot of time in the village, but it felt so quick. In this movie, we spent more time in the village. We see the you know, Belle's doing her laundry, all that stuff. We see she's using his kid, and you know she gets treated not great in the village by the people, but like in general, she's like really. It just shows that we see more of the village, which I think is really a wonderful thing about the movie. We got more time in the village. We got like a good 10 minutes more in the village than we got before, which is amazing. So. That's what I liked about the movie was the fact that we got more time in the village. The interesting thing about that with the village is that Belle's house in the original movie they're like Belle's house is here, the village is here. It's like, you know, you can cross the bridge and you're there. But in this movie, you have it where Belle's house is actually within the village, which is interesting because they basically changed location, which is very interesting. So that was something very interesting. We got more time in the village, but also we find out that Belle's house is actually in the village, and it looks a bit different. Obviously, when you're going from animation to live action, things are going to have to change. So this is obviously one of those changes. And obviously, something else that was very different because like they told the same story but very differently. Like they changed a lot of things from the original story, and one of the things that they had to change was after Belle is locked up after she traded place with Maurice, the enchanted objects like Lumiere and Cogsworth, they give Belle a room instead of Beast giving her a room, because in the original movie and also the plays, Beast is the one giving her a room. She's like, oh, I'll show you to your room. But in this movie, he doesn't do that. He just leaves her and instructs the enchanted objects to give a room, which much to the Beast's, you know, I guess anger. He doesn't really want her to get a room or whatever. I don't know why. That's kind of stupid and selfish. But basically, they give her a room, which is very different from the original movie, and it's a very beautiful room. It's an amazing room. It's way better than the well, I don't know if it's really better than the original movie, but it just, you know, they've given the room a lot more detail than the live action movie, which is really amazing. And a lot of script was changes from the original animated version to this one. I mean, obviously when you're making a live action movie from an animated movie, the script is going to be very different. But this one, although there were a lot of the same lines, a lot of the dialogue was added. Like for example, when Beast was knocking on her door and asked her to come to dinner, she's like, "Oh, you're taking me as your prisoner, and you want me to have dinner with you? I'd rather starve than have dinner with you," kind of thing. And that was not in the original movie. So that's something else. That's another thing I was really surprised by, was the fact that they did that. It was really interesting that they did that, and well, I mean, that's not the first thing they've done. They've, like, you know, when Miss Potts is saying, you know, the Master's not as terrible as he appears, that's also not in the original movie. And also they're talking about the Beast's curse, not in the original movie. So there's a lot of dialogue that was not in the original movie, because I think it's really good. That's really important to have dialogue that is not in the original movie, because you don't want to have the same recipe over again. You don't want to have the same movie script over again, because that's just boring. If you have the same, I mean, imagine if they had literally told the same story in the same script with the same songs, everything was the same as the original. That would be weird. It wouldn't work very well. So the fact that they changed things, it made it a better movie. I'm not saying the original was bad. I'm just saying the original, it was a better movie than the original in that sense. It wasn't a better movie like both of them were great, but this movie had more to it, which is why it was slightly better, because it told more of a story, because with the script change and everything. I mean, the script had a lot of the same stuff in it as the original, but it was changed quite drastically. And one thing that I kind of disliked about this movie, I mean, there's always things in movies that I review that I dislike. I mean, obviously, so some of them, sometimes I talk about a movie and I can't think of anything I didn't like, but there are a couple things that I didn't like the second time around seeing it. I think that this been my fourth time seeing it, I want to say. But basically, Belle's dress. It was completely different. It looks amazing, it looks gorgeous, but it's completely different. It doesn't have the gloves, it doesn't have the pearls, it doesn't have like the cloth sleeve or the cloth shoulder thingies. I don't know what you call them, like things that go like, you know, they wrap around. I don't know what they're called them. And she also doesn't have a lot of the kind of the dress itself is completely different. It doesn't have the part of the dress that makes it look really good. And they added some stuff like that, but the dress looks nothing like it did in the original. I mean, it's just as beautiful. Like it has the same gold color. It's as beautiful. It is beautiful. I mean, seriously, it is gorgeous, but it is completely different. It looks nothing like the original. But they did still capture the beauty of the dress in that way. I did imagine it was a bit, you know, puffier and longer. I remember it being puffier and longer, so it's very different from the original movie, but it's still gorgeous. So yeah, and also with the blue outfit, because the blue outfit was also changed drastically, but it was the same idea, you know, blue and white and stuff like that. So the weird thing about that was the fact that after Belle, you know, misses her dad and wants to rescue him because he's taken to the insane asylum, basically. She, in the original movie, she takes off her dress and just goes in her blue dress, or her blue outfit, you could call that. Well, not really a dress. But I mean, I guess it is a dress, but it's not really as poofy as a dress. So, but basically, blue outfit, and she goes to her father in the blue outfit in the original movie, and in some plays, some versions of the play, and in the movie, this movie, and also some plays too, she actually doesn't take off the dress. She has the dress on the entire time, and then when she goes to warn the Beast, she takes off her dress, like part of it, like the golden layer. Like she takes off everything except the white part of it. I don't know. It's really weird, but like I wish they spent more time with it. I think we only got maybe like 20 minutes with the dress, and that was it. So I was just like, come on, we got more time with it. We need more time with it. Seriously, there's not enough time. That's an amazing dress. I just wish they kept it longer because it was gorgeous. And I will say I did prefer the original dress, the original, you know, animated version. But this one was also beautiful. I mean, they have in the plays they do have the original dress from the original classic movie, but this one I did like it. I did like it a lot. It was beautiful, but I still have a hot spot for the original 1991 animated dress. Because the style is gorgeous, but this one, yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's a very well done dress. It's beautifully, you know, stitched and everything. It's gorgeous. I love the dress, but I still prefer the original. And another thing that was very different from the original movie that they did for this movie was when the Beast dies. Like when, you know, I think that when she's already there when everything goes to chaos because she's already entered the building. But when the Beast dies for the first time, the Enchantress is actually there. Because in the original movie, the Enchantress is actually shown in the portraits and all that. Oh, this is what happens when... This is what happened to the Beast when he turned down kind of thing. Same thing in the live-action movie. And in this one, when the Beast dies, and Belle's like kneeling against him, and just about confesses her love to him, the Enchantress is already there. Like she's ready to take the spell away because she knows the Beast has learned to love again, which is really, really good. And so that was nothing like the original movie. The original movie and even the plays. The Enchantress was only there in the beginning of the movie. Like, in the backstory of the original movie, she was only there in like a little portrait that the story was telling. But in this movie, she was there. And that was something that was really, really interesting, the fact that they actually had her there. And that was not in the original movie at all. That was like, you have the Enchantress there, she's literally taking the flower away, parrying it, and then turning the Beast back into a human. That was something that was just amazing. That was like, whoa. And that was something really cool about the movie that I really enjoyed. Was like, it was a really good change. I mean, I didn't expect it really, no, not at all. But I was very surprised by it, and I was very, you know, happy with it because I thought it was a very good change about the movie that they you know, showed the Enchantress. Like, where did the Enchantress go? Oh, she's here. She's still here. Like, it's amazing, and that's why I liked it a lot. This movie was really good because they showed a lot more stuff to it, like, you know, the Enchantress. We didn't really get much of the Enchantress, and finally we get to see, oh, the Enchantress actually comes to the castle and breaks the spell because she sees the Beast has love in his heart again. Because after, obviously, Belle, you know, confesses her love to him, so basically that's how it is. and that's what happens. And one thing about the live action movie that they changed, unlike the original movie, although I know there's a couple of plays where Belle wears the blue outfit in the dance sequence, but in the final dance sequence of this movie, we have all the residents restored. I mean, I assume they were the residents because they're known at the castle and they were cursed or something like that. I don't know where they went, all of them, but basically. Well, I mean, I know all of them were cursed as magical objects, but we didn't really get to see all of them as magical objects. We didn't get to see every character. But when the dance happened, we see that Belle is not in her real dress anymore. And it's like, what happened to it? Because now she's in this white dress with a flower in it. It's gorgeous. I loved it. It's a fantastic dress. It's beautiful, but what happened to the original dress? Like, I don't understand. They have this huge, like, dance ball thingy in the beginning of the movie and the end of the movie, and it's gone. Like, is she just ditching it? Just no idea where it went. Just does she even wear it? Like I wish she'd wear it more, because she, like I said before, I think she only wore it for like 20 minutes and that was it. So I was like, I wish she wore it more, because we got more. She wore it more in the plays and in the original movie, but like it's just not even there. Like she just nope, not wearing that again. It's like I don't understand. That was just like it had an iconic dress like the Belle dress in the movie, and you just replace it in the end of the movie. Come on, I mean, I know the new dress is really nice, but you gotta not do that. That's why the movie wasn't as good, but it was still a great movie. I mean, there are a lot of flaws in it, and I'm pointing at the flaws right now. That's one of the flaws they had, is that the dress was replaced by the white dress. I don't know. I was confused about that. I was like, what the hell? And one last thing I wanted to discuss about this movie before I wrap up here is that the acting. I noticed the acting with some of the actors wasn't the best, and I could tell. It was actually not great, because, you know, sometimes I can't really tell, but this time I could tell, and that was the three women in the original story that were like, you know, attracted to Gaston, and like, you know, saying always dreaming about all that stuff, and of course Gaston acknowledges like, oh, you're not gonna, you know, getting married is just not something it's not what you're gonna change your way about how you feel about it, kind of thing. And I realized that the actors played those characters. So like some of the actors, they don't really act well. Like their acting isn't very good in the movie, and that was something that one of the flaws that I noticed about the movie was the fact that they didn't act very well at all. But I mean, I guess the movie can't be perfect with some, you know, with some acting flaws. But I just feel like they didn't really do a good job with acting. I feel like they were having a straight face when the opening songs played, when they're the village song, you know, the first song, of course. So I can tell that some of the actors, they're basically talking as though they're reading out scripts, and I could tell that. Like the first time I could tell that you know, the acting was bad, because I can't remember what line it was, but it was before one of the guys said, "How's your family?" That character right there, she just said the whole line, and it looked like she wasn't even trying to act. Like, just like, I'm like, wow, yeah, that's all I can say really about that. That was just like that's one of the flaws I can say, and that's really all I can say about Beauty and the Beast. This version of this, it's a phenomenal movie. I couldn't recommend it more. It's fantastic. It's so good, and that's why I'm going to. I have both of them actually here. I have the original and the live action one. And which one would I recommend more? Yeah, I feel like they're really both good, but this one does have a soft spot for me. But I will say about the casting of Emma Watson for my final talk about this movie is that she was perfectly cast. I mean, she's one of my favorite actresses. She's gorgeous, but I still think that there could have been another actress to play her, but she still did a really good job. And I think that she was a perfect match, but I mean, again, there are other actresses that I could have seen play her, but she still did a really good job as the character, and I think that she's wonderful. And as for rating it, I would give it, because there was still some flaws. There was a lot of things that I mentioned before and that I list on that I had issues with. So because of that, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10, which is actually pretty reasonable, I think. So there are some things in the movie that I was disappointed with, but they still did a good job nevertheless. They still told an amazing story, a beautiful story, and it was still really good, but even then there's some flaws with it, so I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10, which is actually pretty reasonable. So thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Reviewed. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the like button. I really do appreciate support. And if you're new to this channel, subscribe for more episodes of this series and other series that I do, as I look at content. And I'll be back next time with another episode. Alright? See ya.